Hey, it's Eric G. Around the House is sponsored by Baldwin Hardware. For 75 years, Baldwin Hardware has been known for its first-class quality and craftsmanship in door and cabinetry hardware. As an alumnus of the Baldwin Hardware Design Council, I can say I have seen the details and quality from design to the finished product. If you're looking for a new style and old-world craftsmanship, I can tell you there is only one Baldwin Hardware. Check out what would look great in your home at baldwinhardware.com.
It's Around the House.
Honestly, I talk to customers all the time about that very subject, and they'll say, oh yeah, an arborist came out and said we need to tear those out. Oh, so-and-so, a horticulturist came and said we need to tear those out. And it's like, guys, no, stop. I've got a lady in New Mexico, and I'm going to sound like a politician. I know this lady in New Mexico, and she's got some really unique, like 40-foot tree in her front yard, and the arborist came out and said, oh, you got to tear that out. It's not doing well. She bought 2 root quenchers, and she doesn't have an irrigation system. She just goes out once a week and waters for, I think, 20 minutes.
When it comes to remodeling and renovating your home, there is a lot to know, but we've got you covered. This is Around the House.
Welcome to Around the House Show. This is where we talk about everything around your house every single week. Thanks for joining us today. I'm over at the site of the National Hardware Show where, man, all the stuff that you see in the stores out there, this is where people go to find them. And I have an amazing product for you today. This is going to solve a bunch of your problems outside, and I'm very impressed. I am sitting here in the Root Quencher booth, and I've got the founders right here. Go ahead and start out, Robert. Welcome to Around the House, my friend.
Thank you, Eric. Happy to be with you today.
Oh, man, you and your wife, Maria, this is going to be great.
Hi,
nice
Eric.
to meet you. Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
All right, we're going to be talking about what you guys are doing here because great example at my house. I have 300-year-old fir trees, and they have destroyed my driveway because they're looking for water. And I'm going to have to repave the whole thing because they've pushed up, going across the surface, and you have the perfect solution for this kind of thing. Let's talk about Root Quencher.
You bet. Thanks, Eric. Well, I mean, our story began very simply as we live in Pasadena in my parents' home that they built in 1964, mid-century modern house.
Oh, beautiful, man. Beautiful.
But they did an amazing job on the landscaping as well. So they've got grapefruit trees and orange trees and lemon trees and all kinds of things. And we'd not been happy the last few years in fruit production, and we could tell that the trees were stressed and didn't know what to do. So we called an arborist. The arborist came out and said, you're going to have to tear these trees out. They're at end of life.
That's insane.
So we had a horticulturist come out, and they told us the same thing.
Man.
So pretty depressing, my parents having planted those, the year before I was born, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
A lot of emotion, but also, I mean, the cost of replacing all those trees, man.
Wow. Because you got to go in there, cut them down, tear all the roots out, basically regrade that and start over, and then the expense of buying trees.
Yeah, and you're looking at, unless you're going to go from seedlings, you're talking about, $80 to $150 for a 4-foot tree.
Yeah.
Depending on the variety.
Yeah, and you don't want to be waiting 10 years to get fruit, right?
No, exactly.
That's the brutal part.
So I'm not exactly sure how it started, although it was probably just me trying to find a project to keep myself out of trouble.
I got those.
Maria likes those.
Yeah.
And I started doing all kinds of crazy things with the irrigation. Actually, true story, so crazy over the years that I had a gardener quit. He said, I am not going to deal with all this nonsense.
That's awesome.
So it was kind of funny. I said, this is my laboratory right here.
Yeah.
So over the course of the next year, we kind of developed an early prototype of the Root Quencher that was basically just bringing water deep down to the roots, getting rid of all the spray heads and all that kind of stuff. And the next season, we had crazy fruit production, and the trees started perking up. And we're like, forget those guys. They don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Then we started playing around with organic fertilizers on top of that.
Nice.
Because these had always been chemical-based trees.
Sure.
You know, old
It's
school.
what you had, right?
Yeah, it's old school. So we got a great organic fertilizer, and then we saw even more fruit production and more health. So that was kind of the beginnings of the Root Quencher and watering under the surface.
Well, it makes so much sense because so many times you see sprinklers going and you've got maybe clay soil or harder packed soil and you're putting so much water down and it's running to the low point because water loves to go to the low point. And it makes no sense. After seeing this, it's like, wait a minute, you're putting the water where it has to be, not trying to hope Mother Nature gets it where it could be.
Right.
And that makes a lot of sense. I mean,
No, and honestly, the biggest validation we've gotten from the social media trolls is, oh, well, I've been doing that for 20 years. I stuck a PVC pipe in the ground. And my comment to them is, awesome, good job.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what you need to do. The difference is we've actually made a commercial device that, you know, is adjustable from 9 to 22 inches.
See?
It has a flow control valve on it, and you can fertilize in it, so it's a lot more formal than just a pipe in the ground.
Yeah. I mean, everybody could try to put something together, but this has design, science, and stuff behind it to actually make it work versus somebody getting the drill and a piece of PVC pipe out of the back of the truck. And
Exactly.
if it was that simple, that you'd be making that and sending it out, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's that crazy. But let's talk a little bit about what this does and how it works for the people out there listening, because, you know, obviously it's putting water down, but let's talk about the benefits of that and how that really works, because this is a great solution. I mean, if you're anybody from an arborist to a landscaper to anybody out there, you could have these in the back of your truck.
Yeah, and honestly, that's just to finish the story on the whole thing is we didn't, obviously, from the story you've heard, we didn't set out to create a product and go to market.
Sure.
And I remember sitting down with Maria and talking about it and praying about it and, you know, agonizing over it and saying, because I've always wanted to have a product.
Sure.
But I definitely didn't set out to create this product. But we realized, you know, this isn't natural because it gives homeowners, landscapers, gardeners, everybody access to the roots in such a unique way and such a sustainable, long way, meaning you're going to have that same access 20 years from now. Because this plastic has, I think it's got a 300-year life, something like that.
Perfect.
So to be able to access it gives, the cap gives ventilation through these holes so that air can flow naturally to the roots. And then the watering and fertilizing is just crazy good.
That's insane. And so, you know, water is such a huge issue out there, especially for like you guys in Southern California. And even up in my area where I live in the Portland, Oregon area, everybody, it always rains up there. Yeah, but my water bills are insane because they get you for every gallon of water that's coming out of the mountains. You pay a ton for it.
Yeah.
This here saves so much water because you're putting it where it needs to be and you're not having to blow it out all over everywhere and waste it because there's no place for the water to go but into the roots. It's not going to all burn off on the hot day.
Well, and let's not just talk about the fact that, you know, between 30 and 50% of water that goes out of spray heads evaporates.
Yeah.
So I'm calling it 50 because the spray heads I've seen, crazy evaporation.
Yeah.
But beyond that, you're using the water so much more efficiently in the ground that I think I water for less time, less volume of water. I'm saying it's 60 or 70% savings on water, and your trees are healthier.
Well, you saw that. Yeah. I mean, that you cured your own problem with that by putting that in. And if you think about it, no offense to the arborists and the horticulturalists out there, but when there's not something on the market that was an answer for them, it's new to them, right? So you came out with a product and like, oh, there was the problem. Think of how many orchards have been pulled out for that reason, that they could have gotten decades more of life out if they would have just put a product in and fixed it.
Honestly, I talk to customers all the time about that very subject, and they'll say, oh, yeah, an arborist came out and said, we need to tear those out. oh, so-and-so horticulturists came and said we need to tear those out. And it's like, guys, no, stop. I've got a lady in New Mexico. Now I'm going to sound like a politician. I know this lady in New Mexico, and she's got some really unique 40-foot tree in her front yard. And the arborist came out and said, oh, you got to tear that out. It's not doing well. She bought 2 root quenchers, and she doesn't have an irrigation system. She just goes out once a week and waters for, I think, 20 minutes. She's shown me the pictures. I go, yeah, let's try 20 minutes. Let's take a look at how he's doing. And we talked to him like, he's a person, as he should be. And I got her she got some organic fertilizer from my place. And I have not gotten an update from her, but I know he was turning the corner and looking better. And they said, cut him down.
Yeah. You're saving so many trees on that are just unnecessary. So let's talk about how this applies. Do you do 1 per tree, 2 per tree? Is it depending on the size? How does that actually kind of work out?
Typically, it's dependent on the soil.
Okay.
So if you've got really good soil where you know the water's going to move, because there's something called capillary action.
Exactly.
And when the water flows in here, and we've got it actually on our YouTube site, we built a chamber like this and demonstrated the capillary action where you pour water in this and it actually moves out and even moves up.
Nice.
So it's kind of cool because the water molecules attach to the dirt molecules, if you will. For lack of a technical.
We'll keep it that way. I like it.
Dirt molecules, and it moves very nicely.
Yeah.
Obviously, clay soil doesn't do that well.
Yeah. Sand goes the opposite way, where it just drops out of nowhere.
Sand is just dropping down, right. So if you can get that right balance of sandy, loamy soil, amended soil, things like that, then you can use one for, a decent-sized tree with a root ball of, say, 6 feet.
Okay.
Maybe.
Decent size.
But I definitely recommend, we have some larger carrot woods that we put even up to 4.
Yeah.
Because the root zone is, 25 feet, something like that. So we're dribbling a little bit of water in all those areas. And I'll tell people too, with oak trees and pine trees, they don't need a lot of water. You can actually kill them with too much water.
Exactly.
So I'll tell people, I got to get 2 root quenchers, and then I go, just relax,
slow down,
chill, because you can go the opposite way with these things and give them too much water. So it's one of those things people ask me, well, how much water should you use and all that, and it's like, it's an iterative process. I mean, you've got to be in tune with your plants and trees, and I say that this is a family and relationship builder beyond deep watering, because you have to go out and look at your trees and look at your plants and say, how are you doing today? What's going on? Are your leaves curling up from too much water? Are they, what's happening with them?
Yeah. It's like you got to go out and go, hey, I think I need to buy you a drink. And there we go. Because, like, for instance, at my house, I've got the 300-foot tall almost, 300-year-old trees out there. They're only about 120 feet tall, but they seem they're big. I mean, it's as wider as this booth.
That's cool.
It's cool. It's fun. But something like that, you have to be careful, because you're right. I could completely overwater that thing.
And those, the cool thing about trees is, however tall they are, their taproot usually goes that deep or deeper. So if there's a good water table in the area, which I think in Oregon there is pretty much. Yeah. But in California, we actually have a 30-foot tall carrot wood that almost died on us a couple years ago, because it's surrounded by grass, and the grass was sucking up all the water, and the carrot wood said, hey, whoa, it's really hot. And the water table, I'm quite sure that tree was 4 feet tall when I was a kid.
Wow.
And I tried to cut it down. And I'm pretty sure the taproot is, 30, 40 feet down.
Yeah.
But the water table is non-existent in California, or it was up until a month ago.
Yeah. And that's crazy. So you think about that you would think that you could set that tree and forget it, it's going to be fine, and next time it rains, or that you're watering the lawn. But that lawn can steal so much water out of that environment. That makes sense, especially if you got sandy soil or one of those things as well, because that could really, really get you too, because you get that really, builder comes in, for instance, They come in and put that top layer, okay, it's sandy soil, it's horrible. I'm going to go drop 6 inches of topsoil, throw the sod down, and walk out the door. That tree doesn't have much of a chance with that kind of situation, because now you've got grass and soil, but those roots are now trying to go up and find it, right? So how deep does this go again?
So this starts off at 9 inches, which is good, by the way, for a lot of even bigger bushes.
Mm-hmm.
We have it in between Texas privet.
Okay.
I don't know if you have privet in Oregon.
Not as much, but yeah, it's there.
It's great in between every other bush.
Okay.
So watering the roots, and the roots are on a privet is about 9 to 12 inches deep. So the 9 inches is perfect.
Yeah.
We have it on holly bushes, which have a lot deeper roots.
Okay.
So we're down, I think, to 18 inches, something like that. And then we've got them on all of our fruit trees at 22 inches.
Wow.
Taking the water all the way down. And we're having some interesting discussions now with people, because we've planted a bunch of new fruit trees, and people say, well, what are you going to do? And I said, I'm going to put this thing at 9 inches right next to the root ball, and in a year, I'm going to move it. And I'm probably going to keep moving it out until the tree is 6 feet, 7 feet tall, right? We've got to design the puller for the root quencher.
I was going to say.
Because right now it's a pickaxe and some back muscles.
Yeah, that's a lot of work, but but that also tells you how well, because of the design of this thing, it's something you're going to get in the hole and it's going to stay there. And then you can hook this up into a regular sprinkler system then, right? And control it that way.
So yeah, this has got a 1/2-inch female NPT connection.
Okay.
So drip irrigation has the fitting for that.
Perfect.
1/2-inch PVC has a fitting for it. 3/4-inch PVC.
It's as standard as it gets.
It's as standard and generic as it gets, exactly. And then, like I said, on the inside, there's a flow control valve.
There we go. There's the secret right there.
That goes from about 0 to, and it depends on. It really depends on how much you have on the system.
Yeah.
I did my original calculations based on just the root quencher, and they were wacky high.
Yeah.
But you put it in a drip line, and it works beautifully.
Yeah, because you're not trying to move that much volume.
The other important thing is directional plugs. Oh. So if you're going to put it next to just one tree, we designed plugs that go in the holes to, and obviously it doesn't completely block the water from coming out.
No.
But it forces it to flow out more on the other side.
Okay, so it's got these kind of teardrop-shaped holes for everybody listening, and these plugs go in there and plug that out, so then you can steer the water to the right direction.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow, that is well thought out, and I love how easily that adjusts.
It's kind of funny because, like, on this display, if you're not careful, I mean, honestly the tooling and the design and everything of this is so precise.
Yeah.
And I learned more things in being involved in the tooling of this. So there's got to be a pitch on that thread so that it doesn't bind.
Yeah.
Because I told them, I said, guys, we get this out in the field. I said, you can't have people muscling this to get it to the right spot.
You got dirty hands, you got soil, you got everything in there that's going to try to fight you along the way.
Exactly.
Because it's not that scientific environment out there. This has been kicking around somebody's truck for a little bit probably, and now you got to go put it out there. And you're right. I have not seen a composite like this that is machined like that literally I pick it up lightly with my hand and it self-adjusts.
You know, the way that it fits together, the double threading on out here and inside of this, it's just really, really exceptional.
Yeah, that is
really
seriously built to last.
Recycled ABS plastic. So we switched that. Some people that may find our stuff from a year ago will see it used to be white.
Okay.
And part of what I wanted to do, and because some people have given me some grief about shoving a big piece of plastic in the ground, I go, fine, I'll make it recycled.
There you go.
So this is all reground ABS plastic, and it only comes in black.
If you're putting a tool in the ground that's going to water, that's actually saving water, in my book at least, whether it's recycled or not, it's awesome that it is. That's a tool that's saving water. It's better for the environment, and you're saving water for everybody else in the neighborhood as well.
Yep. Agreed.
And that's what's cool. So really, this is great for commercial buildings as well, right? So you get those commercial where they got the tree lines on the, on the parkway coming into the office complex or anything else. This is really good because when you've got those trees are out there, even for cities where you've got a curb and stuff and that's right into it, where half the root ball's under the sidewalk, right?
Oh, there's, our mutual friend Catherine.
Yeah.
We actually installed one of these behind her pool. Somebody got the bright idea to plant a tree right next to her pool.
Nice.
Not sure whose idea.
That's
that was
not a good
her.
plan.
That
Yeah.
was not her. But we went in there and we went on the other side of the tree, capped off all the spray heads, and put a root quencher right next to her fence. So at least now the roots will be encouraged to go in that direction. So you're so right with your trees and with other issues is there are so many ancillary benefits to the product because, you're encouraging deep root growth. You're encouraging healthy growth, good use of water, easy fertilizing. And for cities, think about all the cities where you see the sidewalks popping up because they planted the tree. They literally probably dug a hole the size of the root ball.
Yep, dropped it in.
And don't understand why the roots are coming up for air.
Yeah.
And you put one of these next to them, and
you're saving
it's a
sidewalks.
no-brainer.
You're saving all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And this is a much more cost-effective solution than that. And I like it with the pool, though, because now you're trying to kind of steer those roots away from, because they're just looking for water.
Yep.
When they find it, they're like, cool, we have it. They're self-regulatory that way. And I'll tell you what, I don't want to put another pool in one day. That saves you a $100,000 pool. Not a bad way to go.
I'm feeling like Maria wants to say something to you.
Not really, but
Okay. So you guys do a lot of fertilization with this as well,
yes,
as far
we do.
as that.
We put granules in there or organic liquid fertilizer.
Nice.
We also have a compost program on our property, so we do get the compost, put it in there so that the nutrients from the compost goes directly to the roots.
I hadn't thought of that. That is cool because that's big enough you can actually do that with.
Yeah.
Oh wow! So now you're feeding that from that direction. All right.
What's crazy about that is that I just did some compost treatment last week, and I was checking before I left for the show, wondering, it probably hasn't moved very much, right? If you wonder how well the Root Quencher works in distributing stuff in general, all the compost is gone. So that means it's in the soil.
It's right where you want it to be.
I filled the whole thing up with
Holy
compost,
smokes.
and it's after a week, it's gone.
So 18 inches of compost is now fed out to that tree.
So all those microbials, that biology, all that stuff is now in the soil.
That is impressive. I'm happy I'm not a betting man on that because I'd have said there's no way that could happen, but that's the beautiful part of that. Well, I'm sure it breaks down, right? So it's breaking down, you've got water, and then it's just going through that same capillary action all the way out there.
Yep.
Oh, man. You guys have thought this out. You guys got a good thing on this, yeah.
We got a good team for sure.
Absolutely. So what's next with this? I mean, you're just started out. This is a very new company.
All right. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about the Junior then.
Yeah, this
So the
Junior
Root
is
Quencher
cute.
Junior, we recognize that even just from a physical standpoint of this beast is that for some smaller plants, it was a bit much.
Yeah.
And so we thought, well, for like azaleas and some other, rhododendrons and things that are like kind of medium-sized plants, their roots don't go down but 4-6 inches, something like that. Why don't we make the junior size of this? So hence the Root Quencher Junior. Same valve, same nut, same connection, same plugs.
Everything's standard.
For this works for this.
Okay, so really, when you're sitting here with this, as somebody that's an installer, you have one set of plugs. You've got one pipe thread fitting. It's all the same. You're just swapping out to that mini to get you into that junior category for those right plants. That way you don't have this big honker right there. You're right, that would be overkill for a small, like 3-year-old azalea.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
And I've been trying to think about you guys. You know, I always wanted to be a contractor. So
Yeah.
I wanted to be a cool kid, but I wasn't. So I wanted to design products for the cool kids.
There we go.
You know, so that they would have them.
There we go. This is brilliant.
So yeah, the Junior, and they both have, we didn't really talk about this, but they both have drain holes at the bottom so that if water doesn't move out, it doesn't stagnate in there.
Yeah.
And the
that makes sense.
Quencher has the same type of thing.
Okay. Same holes in the bottom. That makes sense. And that way you're still pushing that water, even if it's not getting really used, it's still going down, which, again, that can help that taproot or whatever else it's down there to get that over there.
Exactly.
Because you're still just pushing it down and letting gravity do its thing. Ooh, I see
Maria
a spike.
says she wants to talk about the spike.
Let's talk about the spike, Maria. This is cool.
This is the Root Quencher spike.
Okay.
This goes on your drip line.
Oh.
We have it on our hillside because a lot of the water, it's just rolling down and not going directly to the plants that we want it to go to.
Yeah.
So we developed this. So Robert had this tool that pierced the hole in the drip line, and then we had some stakes to hold it down, and then he had these little spray heads that would break.
Right.
So we developed something that took care of everything.
Wow.
It has this little thingamabob thing that will pierce your drip line.
Just like any other drip tool that would do
Right.
that. Yep.
It'll hold your hose
Oh my gosh.
without having spikes on there.
Oh,
We can also,
the tops comes off. Okay.
the water will swirl in here, go down the chamber, and out to the roots.
That is impressive.
You can also fertilize in here with your liquid fertilization or fertilizer.
Yep.
And then the top of the spike, you can control the water flow as well.
Sheesh.
So the tighter it goes, obviously this.
That is great for gardening. It is great for all that stuff.
Yes.
And no offense to the guys out there building the drip systems, those spikes are horrible to deal with.
They are.
If you've got good soil and it's fairly loose and stuff out there, they're bending over, they're doing dumb things.
Right.
And that is serious enough. When you put it there, it's not moving.
It's not moving. Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, our competition, and I'm actually pretty passionate about this little guy because this is our newest invention. Is that our competition is, and I've been using the competition for years.
Yeah.
And they've done a great job at creating something you can hammer the heck out of to get in the ground, but then you've got to punch a hole in the half-inch drip, put a quarter-inch coupler, then a quarter-inch line to the device, then you have to put a drip head on that and connect it, and then you're done.
That's a lot of work.
And you have, the drip, granted, the emitter will give you whatever amount of water you want. But this is just like the rest of the devices that we have. It's interpretive, it's integrated, it's it's a perfect fit, honestly, to the other products.
And what's cool about this is like anything out in the field when you're working on a project, something that is going to be durable and simple is always the easier way to go. Because like you said, you had, okay, I'm going to hook into the line. I got a fitting. I got to go over here. I got to have another fitting. I got to have some spikes. You have to go through all these steps where you have kind of one here. You have one motion of putting that hole in it, and now it's going in the ground, and it's going to stay there. You're not going to sit there and go, oh, the dogs moved into that. Dogs were running around the bushes. Now I got to go reset all those.
Yep.
You're not messing with that. That is way down in there. And what is that? 6 inches down thing almost goes?
Yep.
Yeah. And I love the little micro holes in it for that. So for a drip system, that makes sense because you've got clean water and it works well.
Do you want to tell them about the rest of it?
But say you have a potted plant next to it. So we have this little adapter.
Yeah, it's a little 90-degree adapter that goes in the bottom.
So
Wow.
not only are you getting your ground cover, but also your potted plants.
That is so smart because now you've come up with that solution for all those pots. And again, you're getting the water down where it needs to be.
Right.
Where those emitters, they're up top.
And they're spraying everywhere.
Yeah, they're getting on the
And
side
they're
of the
breaking
house. They're
quickly.
breaking. Yeah. Because that's the problem with exterior, especially in an area like with you guys where the sun is just on it. You know, there's a lifespan to it out there. And these are so big and bulky in the right kind of way. And they look super clean when they're in there. You just see this little round top, right, when it's installed. So it's not as distracting as some of the other emitter systems out there. And you're putting it down in, so you're using less water. Is that one size that you guys have for that, basically? It looks like it's kind of a one fit.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is the competition has, I think they have a 6-inch stake or a 8-inch stake, something like that. And then they have varying degrees deep as like 24 inches. But this rounds out our product line because the small device is for the small things.
Yep.
The medium device is for the medium things, and the big device is for the big things. And that's it. There's not 5 sizes, there's not 10 sizes, there's not 27 different versions of it, or 16. I mean, there are multiple ways to hook it up.
Sure.
But it's a pretty simple product. And I personally found residential irrigation to be super complicated.
I have been, in a former life, I was a Rainbird trained designer. So I used to do sprinkler design. So I have done that way back in the day. And I tell you what, yeah, and they couldn't make it any more complicated. And I've sat through all those long classes and stuff 20 years ago. But this makes things so much more simple.
Well, and you have, everybody has Rainbird, Orbit, Hunter, everybody. They have, all the pressure regulating heads, which are cool. And look, they've been in it to win it for the last 30, 40, 50 years.
Yep.
Actually, Rainbird for, I think, 70 years, something like that. But, it's time for a change. And we were at one of our original trade shows with an influencer in the irrigation industry. And he goes, it's kind of sad that it takes, I'm talking at a school a little bit, that it takes a consumer to come and shake up the irrigation industry with a not really even new concept, to be honest with you, just trying to deliver something that makes sense and is efficient.
Well, and for the contractor out there, which we have plenty to listen to the show, you have 3 products in your truck. I mean, and that's all you need for every situation. Like you said, you could have 20 with some of the other competitors out there. That's way too much to manage. This here, you can literally have a small amount of stuff that does everything you need to do. That's brilliant.
And I'll be honest with you, we love the contractors too, and have all of our bulk packaging is with them in mind. Very simple and clean, not a lot of fluff and muss. Contractor pricing, so that not only are they making a little bit of margin on the product, but they're making all the installation costs. And these are, this will take an auger or a post hole digger.
Sure. For the big one.
This is a trowel and stuff like that. But honestly, for the landscape and irrigation contractor, It puts them in a great spot with their customers because it's not, they were saying, it's not cutting edge. It's not technologically, revolutionary, even though I like to use the word because I do think it's kind of revolutionary.
It absolutely is.
It's like, it's a fresh set of ideas. It's a simple approach to a rather complicated problem.
Well, and what's cool is that from the contractor point of view, this is simple. You guys didn't make this hard. You have a couple ways to do it, and it's anybody can understand it, and you've got a product that's going to work, and you're saving labor for the end consumer. So they can go through, get it in there. They're not sitting there messing with 20 parts, right? And you're there. So the consumer gets the savings for the ease of use, plus they put it in there once, and you could forget it. You might have to move it because a tree's getting larger or something like that, but that's always going to happen, and it's good because you're steering those routes where you want to be.
Well, and the differentiator, like we talked about before, is that the one size fits all for all the tree needs is kind of a big deal because right now, if you're an irrigation contractor or a landscape contractor, you have to order our competitor's product, and you got to order the right size because they have 4 or 5 different sizes, and if you don't order the right size, granted, is the water's still going to move.
Sure.
But you won't have the flow controls. You don't have the ability to actually control where the water goes. And all you got to do is have a case of these on the truck.
Yeah. Very simple.
Yeah.
So you guys have retail and, for the consumer packaging then, and then you've got the trade guys out there so you can keep those two happy.
Yep, we've got the simple, straightforward trade packaging. You get an instruction sheet with everyone. You get 8 directional plugs with each root quencher.
Perfect.
And it's just, brown paper bag packaging, just like us, well, those of us that think we're contractors and those who actually are contractors. No, I want to get my C27 license, actually.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I told her I want to do it.
You can do it.
Because I do go out and do some of the work now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, California, it's a little hard. It takes a little time to get through there, but it can be done.
But right now, I actually work under a buddy's contractor's license. So
cool.
all of you out there know I'm doing it legally and legit.
There we go. We'll keep all the government people happy on that one, right?
Exactly.
But
exactly.
And
did we mention that it's all made in the USA?
Ah,
all
there
the
we go.
products are made
Home
here
run.
in the United States.
that is a huge home run. That is a huge home run because that's what's great. And as we know, right, we have had such a huge problem over the last 3 years of getting stuff in from overseas.
Yes.
You guys have such a greater control of things when it's made here in the United States because now you're not going, I got a container coming, hold on, 7 months it'll be here, right?
Right.
Where you can go, yeah. And by the way, I know the container was $1,500 to get here. By the way, it's $22,000, right? You know? And so that's the cool part, and it's American jobs.
Yeah.
And
so we have some of it done here in Nevada,
Nice.
in Carson City, Valencia, California,
Wonderful.
and Tracy, California. It's all put together and packaged and shipped out from Hawthorne, California.
Oh, man, you guys.
Yeah.
That is something to be proud of.
And where's it available?
That's
It's available on HomeDepot.com and also on RootQuencher.com.
Nice.
And
Well, I love the Home Depot thing because you guys are now, and congrats on that, by the way, on getting it. That's a big deal. Because
you.
for a small family-run company to start to get into those guys, that's a behemoth. And it's great to see you guys jumping into that because that gets you that availability out there for people to be able to grab it.
Yeah, we actually just landed in 104 Home Depot stores on the West Coast.
Dude.
A few stores in Utah, Nevada, California, and it's a test, obviously.
Sure.
So we've already had some sales generated through HomeDepot.com.
Yep.
But we're excited to be definitely, getting inducted into their family.
Yeah.
And they're carrying the junior now online.
Excellent.
And we'll be working on getting that in stores as well.
Okay, guys, so all of you listeners out there right now, make sure you go over and help these guys out because their sales from there helps them grow. So don't go over to Root Quencher right now and buy it. Go to Home Depot and get it. Get these guys the sales because I know that makes a big difference in getting them to pay attention to you. So do me a favor, do them a favor, and head over that direction for that business because we got to get these guys in every store across the country, right? I mean, that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
So what have we not covered today, guys? We've talked in depth about this, but I know there's always something else out there. I do like that Made in America thing, though. That's impressive.
Well, it's, not that everybody cares for this, so you can cut it out if you want, but minority women-owned business is kind of a big deal.
Of course.
In this country. But I will tell you, having a woman at the helm that you can tell knows the product, runs the company, and does tell me, oh, no, we're not doing that. No, we are not doing that.
You're the boss.
Yeah, I'm just the CEO.
Wait a minute. You're the COO. You're the CEO. That should say Robert Wrangler under there, too.
That's for sure. that is for sure. So that's something that's special because I think
it is.
I know that a lot of people would think about working with their spouse and say that's a bad idea. Obviously, you guys are kindred spirits to us.
Yep.
Because your wife is here as well.
Absolutely.
And I think for us, it's family. It's the relationship with our trees and plants that sounds a little corny, but, we have 6 kids and 8 grandkids.
Nice.
So I think our dream that we hadn't talked about is that, we're building something for the next generation.
Yes.
As not just for everybody in America to be able to water and fertilize more efficiently,
right,
but for our own family to have something like a piece of us that kind of lives on, and not from an ego standpoint, but like, I want both Elijahs. We have 2 grandsons that are Elijah.
Nice.
Elijah and Malachi and Jacob and Mia and Isabella and Josh and Dylan and all
Dude, you
the,
got a house full.
I think I did. It didn't seem like 8. But anyway, we want a legacy. I mean, not to force them into the business, but if there's interest, we would love to have them involved and have something that kind of carries beyond us, or at least pays for the rest home for us.
Well, seriously though, no, that family-run business is something. I mean, that's what this country's made on, is people coming in and creating this stuff, and that's the stuff I love to support as well, because you guys are putting your heart and soul into this. As business owners, it's like, this is the hardest thing to do, is to do what you guys are doing today, because you have everything going against you, but you've created a very successful product that I think is just getting started out in the marketplace.
And I will tell you too that the very unique relationship with my day job makes this extra special too, is all the people that support us at Lithographics, which is the printing company that I work for in Hawthorne, California. They produce all the graphics for us. They've done all the CGI work for us.
Nice.
And obviously I'm a customer, so I pay for it.
Yeah.
But
that's
more
why you
than
have them one of the
anything-
best beautiful booths here with all that graphics.
Well, yeah, there is that. But, beyond that, they warehouse all the product, they assemble all the product, and they make sure every order ships out within 24 hours of receipt.
Wow.
Whether it's Home Depot, Shopify, or the website, or what have you. We have some direct suppliers as well, or direct distributors as well.
Yes.
So they handle all the distribution for all that. So Tony and Jessica do an amazing job for us, and the girls.
Man, that is cool, guys. All right, I think we've covered everything here today. Thank you for having me over here, guys. Honestly, this is an amazing product. You and I were talking a few weeks ago, and I'm like, this is cool. But now that I've had it in my hands, impressive stuff. Impressive stuff. All right. Thanks for coming on, guys. And also, make sure you head over to homedepot.com to grab this stuff, or your local Home Depot if you're in that, California, Nevada, Utah, kind of that whole area there.
Yeah, I think we probably need to publish a list on our website of the stores and where to go.
Yeah.
Because it is very select stores.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Anyway, support these guys. That's what's great about this. And you can really help these guys out. I'm Eric G., and you've been listening to Around the House.
Somewhere unseen and undiscovered, anywhere beyond the mean. Life is a love song, let's be lovers. We're all over the radio. Take my hand, I know where to go. All over the radio with you.
Hey, it's Eric G. from Around the House. Are you planning a decking or siding project this year? If you are, you've got to check out my friends at Millboard. Millboard is a completely different kind of composite decking and cladding that enhances outdoor spaces with enduring distinction. Hand-molded from the finest oak, it realistically mimics the natural grain and color of premium hardwood. If you're looking for something that doesn't look like plastic and instead real wood, check out millboard.com. Make sure and check out that interview we did just a few weeks back. That's millboard.com.